today to talk about purpose, right? And I have some pretty exciting people joining me on stage today. I want to first talk about how insane this is to actually be here at Beautycon in LA. I was recently at the one in New York as a publicist doing my job, backstage in the shadows. So to be here today on this stage talking to you about something I know something about, purpose, is amazing. And I'm so excited to be here, and I'm so excited to introduce to you my panel. Woo! So first we have New Orleans native and CEO of the Crayon Case, the comeback queen. We have Wuzzam Supa. Hey, hey, hey. All right, now a member of 2018's Forbes 30 Under 30 and Time's 2019 25 Most Influential People on the Internet, our next guest has over 50 million followers across our social channels and was just announced as the first ever brand ambassador of Sesmoy Beauty. Give it up for Liza Koshy! Hey, 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 hey! I like it, I like it, I like it.
What's up? Hello, how y'all doing?
So next we have our favorite from Blackish, the bossest 15 years young lady I know, and the youngest executive producer in Hollywood. Give it up for Marsai Martin! There she is! We're filling up the stage, all right. Now another member of Forbes 30 Under 30, she's at the helm of a digital media empire that is changing the game. Give it up for the founder and the CEO of the Shade Room, Angie! Woo! Come on, lady.
Bayo.
Right here, baby. So I'm gonna have you take the last seat here on the stage, next to Super, so we can get into some things. Are you guys ready to talk about purpose? All right, let me have a seat now. Thighs is out, right? All right, how is everybody doing today?
Good.
You guys look
Excellent.
amazing.
Thank you.
Getting my cards in order. Filling up time.
Gotta catch them all the cards.
So I think this discussion that we're getting ready to have about purpose is something that we can all freely talk about. I feel like it's our purpose that has driven us and that has brought us to where we are today, and which is more importantly why we're on this stage today, right, ladies?
Yeah, of course.
Preach.
So I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited to talk to you powerful, powerful women, and not just powerful women, but powerful women of color, which is so important to this culture, okay? So exciting, right? Hey, Moj. So we're not following the old rules of the industry to be seen and not heard. We have a voice and we use it, right? I think so often in this industry, when you're a professional or you're an entrepreneur, you're expected to stand behind the scenes, and you're expected to wear all black, and you're expected to be seen and not heard and not have a voice. But every woman on this stage today has made it a point to use their voice for change, has used their voice for awareness, and has used their journey to help other women propel their purpose and fuel their livelihoods. Am I right?
Yeah.
All right. Moving on. Marsai.
Hi.
You're inspiring young black girls worldwide as the baddest actress and young executive in Hollywood. Woo! How does that feel?
Ooh. Well, it feels so exciting. I feel like that's why I'm here, is to show young black girls that you can do anything you want, or anyone in general, just to be yourself and be comfortable in who you are. And whether you are in front of the camera or behind the camera, you can do whatever you want. And there is such thing as breaking boundaries. So, yeah.
Amen. Sunday, and that was a word. Liza.
Brought me to church. Amen. Hallelujah. Woo!
Your platform reach is endless, and you use it not only for self-expression and entertainment, but to speak honestly and to activate your followers around important issues. How important is you to use your platform to bring awareness to important things that we all should know about?
Yeah. I mean, we all have a platform. Every single one of us that has social media, and just the platform you have in everyday life, just speaking to your friends. There's the term influencer is thrown around a lot, right? And a lot of creators don't like that term, but we all are influencers, and we're all influencing, what we buy, what we eat. Every day we make these decisions. So I like to empower my audience to know that you also have a power. No matter what the number says on your Instagram page, no matter what the likes say, you're not a number, you're a person, and you have power and you have purpose, which we're going to talk about today. And to empower yourself to use your voice, and no matter what that is, whether that be sharing your story or sharing what you believe in or promoting what it may be, you may be environmentally conscious, promote that. Like whatever it is at whatever time in your life that you find to be important and you find needs to be heard in this world, to promote it and preach it as much as you possibly can.
Absolutely, 100%. And that brings me to Supa. The people of New Orleans lost 10 years of their lives and 10 years of culture after Hurricane Katrina. You are one of the most influential voices in bringing up the community and bringing a new wave of culture back to the city. How important has it been for you to use your platform and bringing that culture back to New Orleans?
Well, it's been really, really important to me because everybody act like New Orleans is still crippled from Katrina, and we're not. You know, we're not. Like, we're still living our own life. We're still having a good life. And like, there's plenty of entrepreneurs in New Orleans from New Orleans. Even if they moved or not, they're still from New Orleans, you know. So, and a lot of people try to, even people that's not from New Orleans, they try to make it seem like, oh, New Orleans this, New Orleans that. New Orleans is everywhere around the city. Like, it's not like we're the only city that's doing this and doing that, you know. So, I actually moved from New Orleans, but just like a few, like on the outskirts, just because so I, you know, live comfortably, you know. But I still represent New Orleans every day, all day. It don't matter where I'm at, where I'm going, even after Katrina, New Orleans this, New Orleans that, whatever, you know. So, and my company, it basically just, you know, just came from me being from New Orleans. And then, you know, with New Orleans, as far as beauty, it's a lot going on, but as far as the actual companies, it's not that many, you know. So, like, my company is big in New Orleans, and I'm so happy that New Orleans still support me. You know, when I first came up, it wasn't really about New Orleans, you know. But New Orleans still, you know, support me and talk about me. And, like, even when I'm not known somewhere, somebody from New Orleans is bringing my name up. So that's why what I love about New Orleans. And I'm still separate. I still rep New Orleans all day, no matter where I'm at.
Amazing, as you should, as we all should, right? Angie, you single-handedly started a digital media empire that not only shows Black and brown people as they are, but provides a real community and supportive platform for Black entrepreneurs and business owners. How important is it for you to make sure that your platform continues to highlight brown and Black people in a positive light?
I mean, I think that our mission, the Shade Room, is to highlight Black people as they are. So we are a reflection of Black culture. So we, you know, the hashtags, the trends, you know, everything that goes on in Black culture, we reflect it. And so I'm not trying to manipulate it. I think Black culture is neither positive or negative. I think Black culture is what it is, and we have to start embracing our culture. You know what I mean? Our styles. We're not ghetto. They're fashionable. As you can see, Vogue picks it up, and everybody picks up our culture and our style, and so we have to really embrace every part of our culture because it's beautiful, and so that's my goal with the Shade Room.
Yes.
Amazing, amazing. So I have a few cards in my hand, but there's just a few things that are on my heart to talk about today. Is that all right?
More than all right.
So I think one thing for me is understanding our passion and understanding our purpose, right? What is the difference between your passion and purpose? I know for myself, you know, my passion is media. My passion is publicity. My passion is all things pop culture, and that's what fuels my livelihood, is my job. But I feel like my purpose is more so to evolve people around me and to elevate them in whatever it is that they want to do, whether it be a rapper or an actress or a model. I feel like it's my job to be strategic and to be calculated and to make sure that whatever they do helps to elevate their profile. So I do believe there's a difference in passion and purpose. What do you guys have to say about that topic?
I would say that, I got this. Don't worry, guys. I would say that purpose is more so at your core, whereas passion can evolve, you know, as you evolve. And that's what, especially what I'm going through right now, when I heard that this panel was about purpose and about what it is and defining it for yourself, I went online and I looked up the definition of it. And then I took a BuzzFeed quiz trying to figure out what it was for me. Let me tell you, I'm confused. But it was, I went through a little midlife crisis for a second, and I snapped back to reality and said, you know what, it's okay for me to not know exactly what my purpose may be right now. And I'm trying to understand and redefine what it is, because there are so many definitions to who we are. We play, you know, all these different characters in everyday life, whether that be how you speak to a woman that you know from your church versus a girl that you've seen in the club, in the bathroom. Like, there's different forms of yourself. And there's different forms of your work and your job. Just like she is an executive producer and also an actress and also a model and also like buttery skinned, you know what I'm saying? Like she does it all. So there's different forms, and you provide a purpose for different things that you do. So I'm purposely trying to figure out my purpose, but I'm not trying to figure it out on purpose. To leave it open and leave it broad and allow myself to evolve and become this little chameleon, even though today I'm a snake.
I think I have something to say about that, because I agree with you, Patience. I think that passion is what you love to do. It's the thing that drives you. But I think purpose is the reason God had you here on this earth. You know what I mean? And so that's why we could be passionate about things, but we have this deep inner knowing that there is some reason why we are here. And I feel like that is the goal, is to kind of connect with God's purpose for you and why He brought you on this earth.
Amazing.
My passion is my entire family. That's just, my whole family, we are extremely family orientated, and that's why when I hired my family members, I want them, the passion for me was that even my kids, like I want y'all to have a different life from what I had. That's why I made sure that their fathers are in their lives. It's really important. I didn't want to have the same life as my mom. Like my daddy is nowhere in my life. We still talk a lot, but I still made sure that he started his new company. I still bought him a car, and even though he still don't do shit for me, but I just want him to actually live like a normal life. And same thing for my mom and my sister. Like everybody who works for me changed their whole life. Like they bought houses, they bought cars, they got everything they always wanted because of what I've done for them. And also it's actually what they done for themselves, because they got a job. They kept the job, they done their work, but I gave them the job, and I made sure I paid them more than any job has ever paid them, so that's my passion, me actually seeing my family members doing better things on the strength of me, so that was my passion.
Yes, period. Yeah, I think my passion is to probably, of course, like my friends, my family, of course, and also I can express myself by creating things that aren't in different perspectives that a lot of people really see in movies or in TV or any of that. And I think just leading by example is what my passion is, and to actually show people that this can happen at any age or at any time, and it's not impossible. But my purpose, I am still trying to find my purpose. Shoot, I'm 14, like, I don't gotta know right now, but later on, we'll see. We'll see how this goes, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. So how many mothers do I have out here today? Any mothers out here? I'm a mother myself, and I want to ask a question. As a mother, and even our future mothers, how important is no pun intended, none. I'm speaking life into your future, speaking life.
Into there.
How important is your upbringing and your foundation when it comes to finding your purpose? I asked that because earlier today while I was getting my makeup done, my videographer asked me, what was my upbringing like? And was I always so confident in when I wanted to start businesses that people take me seriously? And what I explained to him was, I felt like it was my foundation that my mother built for me. She never made me feel like I couldn't do anything. She always made me feel like whatever you have your heart set on, you can do. You want to ice skate, I'll sign you up. You want to tap dance, I'll sign you up. And I feel like that type of energy is what propelled me in a direction where I felt like whatever I want to do, I can do. And once I found out my purpose, I moved in my purpose and confidence. And I feel like without that upbringing, I may not have ever found my purpose, or I may not move in it with confidence, and people may not take me seriously. So how important is your upbringing, and how important is the foundation that you laid for the people around you when it comes to finding your purpose?
I did it last time.
Well, I had a kind of faulty foundation. I grew up without parents. I lost my mother when I was 6 at the hands of my father. So growing up in foster care and having to me and my sisters having to figure things out on our own really made me really independent. You know what I mean? At a young age, I had a job, and, I was really independent from a young age because I knew that we didn't have parents to fall back on, and so I'm grateful. Like, even now when I look back on my past, I'm so happy that I went through that. And people are like, really? I'm like, yeah, because it gave me character. It gave me something that is going to fuel me for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? And so I definitely feel that that background is what contributed to me grinding when I felt like, I couldn't, move forward, or me trying to come up with a solution to be, successful and to be able to, help my whole family. So I feel like, yeah, that my foundation helped me there, or the lack of foundation.
My mom told us we had to work, or she putting us out. That's what she told us, me and my sister. Me and my sister my sister got our first job when she was 14, mine when I was 15. And I was actually working the same mall she was working in. And she said that we got to get our own job, we got to do this, since we wasn't going to college. So you got to do this, you got to do that, I'm going to put you out. So just so happenly, the storm came when I was 17, so it actually put us all out, And then, like we moved to Baton Rouge, we moved to Houston, and I told my mom I wanted to move back to the city, so I actually do things on my own, since she made it seem like we have to get grown, So when I moved to the city, I was going from house to house, house to house. Then I actually got my own house, and I've been having my own house since I was 18, So and she made that possible. She was like, even though she was lying, because she definitely would have made us come back to the house, but she was just saying, like, you have to have your own, like, you're grown, like, you got to be a woman, this, that, And I didn't even have my son till I was 22. So she just made it seem like we have to be grown in order to, live life, And, like, my mom just made it seem like that we're getting older, and she's not going to keep helping us, And even though she was, but she made it seem like, so that what made me and my sister actually get our own things, to, get everything by ourselves. But she never told me to get my own business. And then I ended up doing it. So, but that's what really helped me. My mom actually told us that we have to be an adult. Like, we got to, like, with women, like, we won't even having no children right now. We ain't got no man. We won't need no man. She just told us all that. So that's what actually made us act like that. We're on our own. And that's how we actually both got businesses.
Cool. Well, my parents always tell me, what's for you is what's for you, and God always leads the way to anything, and whatever road you want to take, He is in front of you, like guiding and taking the wheel. And I feel like that's something that I always stand on, like whenever I'm nervous or something, and I just try to get into my true self and what is truly me. And I think that's like the best way of leading by example and actually pushing to do what I love. So of course with my parents, they always, in and out, they can be like strict and out, they're black parents, so like you understand. But no, they always tell me to just be myself and be true to who I am. And of course with my baby sister, I gotta lead by example. And with my baby sister, she's 2, so like she doesn't even know what's going on right now, but when she grows up to see the things that young black girls can do, and people that look like her that are actually doing something that she wants to do later on. It doesn't have to be acting. It doesn't have to be EPing or any of that. But whatever she wants to do, she can see it happening, and even if it is your sister. So that is always something that I look for in the foundation that I have.
So phenomenal.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
I just want to add on to what she said real quick, because I'm going to break the fourth wall here. I've done panels before, but every single time I get so nervous. And I'm just like being up here and wanting to share your story and share your purpose. It's a little nerve-wracking just going down you all answering. I immediately leaned into, lean into fear, but give your faith over to God. And that's what I've been raised with. That is the moral upbringing that I had, to look fear in the eyes and say that I can do it. And that I've done that with everything that I've done, because that has been instilled in me from my father growing up, and he has given me the validation I need to go out into the world and say, I can do this, and I can share from a mixed perspective of being a half white, half Indian girl. And my academically focused Indian father, who like took away my phone at one point, but I had an iPod and I continued the business. He took that away from me at one point and was like, no, you can't do this. And then he saw my passion shining through and realized, no, her purpose is bigger than this, and she wants a story, and she has a story to tell. And just for quick context, my dad, an Indian man, was told that he'll never play a role, he'll never have an acting role, because he's an Indian man and he'll only be stereotyped or typecast as possibly just a terrorist for the rest of his life. And that's unfortunate that he was told that. And now I'm here and creating and producing and being able to be a voice for young brown girls and brown boys too, and show that you can be this, and you can be just a character with a romantic through line, and you can be just a character going off to the movies, and you don't have to be the girl behind the desk at a 7-Eleven. So it's amazing to like break boundaries and break those stereotypes. And I thank my father, and I'm doing this for him and for God too. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Dad. Seriously. So that brings me to my next topic, and it's something that you touched on actually about being bigger than your current situation. And one thing that I always tell people around me that are so focused on your current situation is that you need to invest in things outside of your current circumstances, because at the end of the day, we could wake up tomorrow and life happens fast. So it could be gone, it could be taken from you, but what else do you have around you? And how has purpose helped you figure out what else is it that I'm capable of and what else is it that I can do? I think for me, when they asked me to do the panel, I'm like, I'm a publicist. You know, a publicist, we're supposed to wear all black, and I like black, so it works, but we're supposed to wear all black, and we're supposed to play the shadow, we're supposed to play the back, and we're supposed to be seen and not heard.
Look at you.
Look at
Look
me.
at you.
Look at me. So to take an opportunity like that, I felt like this was the perfect example of what my purpose is. My passion is what I do and how I feed my kid and how I pay my bills, but God's purpose for me, and not forgive me, but I'm very, very, big on my faith and believing, and I feel like God has something for me to share with other people, and it can't be heard in the backgrounds and it can't be heard in the shadows. So when did you figure out that there's more for you than where you started?
Oh, definitely when I did Little. I feel, well, it's Blu-ray and DVD. You can go check it out now. But, subtle plug. Yeah. So, I think when I did Little, when I can figure out, like, what an executive producer meant, or, like, how come I'm the first one, like, and I'm kind of, like, at this age to where I'm not old, but I'm also not, like, I'm a teenager. So it was, like, I'm in a balance to where, like, really, like, there wasn't, like, a 2-year-old who did this, like, Assad Khaled, like, you didn't do any of this.
Assad.
But for me, I think it was when I did Little and where I can express myself, and then someone was actually like, well, Marsai, what do you think of this? Or, Marsai, do you want to change this? I'm like, oh, you care what I think? I'm like, that's very interesting. And actually seeing them respect me in a way that I haven't been, like, felt before was, like, really interesting. Other than my family and friends, it's really hard to, like, be seen as, like, of course, a young black girl. Like, when you go into these big rooms, it's just like, what? And you're actually pitching stuff to them. It's kind of like from the unexpected, So when you finally show them and you actually, like, show them that this can happen, I think that's when I actually found where my stance is, and, like, oh, this is what I can do, and this is what I'm comfortable with, and I can build a team that actually believes in me, and I believe in them, and we can group in as a team. So I feel like that was when the start of everything happened, and I feel like, shoot, I'm gonna keep on moving forward. So let's see.
Woo! I think it started before that. I think you were born a baby genius, a little prodigy, but that's just my
I started when I was
theory.
5, but, like, that was when I really was like, I see you,
She came out like. But no, I think to piggyback off of what you're saying, I think I realized it was something bigger outside of me whenever I saw people relating to my story, and I thought my story was just, something for me, something I lived with, and then to have shared it and see other people, like, resonate, or see it resonate with other people and their stories about being, just a little about my background, being mixed and coming from a slight identity crisis growing up. Like, where do I fit in? Do I hang out with the Indian kids? Do I hang out with the white kids? Do I hang out with, who am I, and how am I trying to define myself? And just understanding as I grow older that I can be labelless, and that I don't need a label to define me. I don't need a specific word to define me, that there's a whole story that is defining me. And so to create these characters online, I created these different YouTube personas, and I created what I needed, which was a confident character, which was a maternal figure character. I love my mom, she's fantastic, but I moved out when I was 19, so I needed a mommy. So I made a character that had maternal characteristics. I made a little version, or a younger version of myself, that we all have this inner child, that it's okay to let it out, let it play, and have fun, and be charismatic and open and free. So creating these characters, I found resonated with kids, because they found something that they related to and said, oh, I'm like him in this way, but I'm also like her. And now I've become this culmination, and I'm just one person. I'm Liza. And that's what I'm excited to do with my content moving on, is being vulnerable as myself, instead of putting on, a different mask. And I created the box, but now I'm breaking outside of it. Yeah.
I knew it was more I could do when the first thing I came out with was, like, New Orleans Bounce, which is in New Orleans, and like I realized that a lot of people didn't know it when I had so many followers, and they act like that they never heard of it. So when they kept asking about it, I just started getting some CDs made and started selling them, you know. And then like I would say things on Instagram, and then everybody just kept repeating it. So that's when I started coming up with shirts. I was doing fanny packs. I was doing like chargers on head. I was just selling all type of little stuff, you know. And I realized I can do more, and people kept asking, where do you get this from? Like, they kept asking all the time, especially when I was trying to do my own makeup. I was doing it on live all the time. And people used to be laughing at me and everything because I was just fucking my face up. It was just horrible, you hear me? And, like, everybody was just laughing about it. And as I noticed by me doing it on social media all the time and on live, I was actually starting to learn what I was doing. So then they started asking, what you use? What's this? What's this? I'm like, if y'all keep asking me what I use, I'm going to start coming out with something. And they just kept asking and kept asking. That's what made me actually, anytime they ever keep asking something from me, that's when I just come out with it. Because if you don't keep asking, that means you buy it from me. So that's how the crown case came. And the crown case was actually the biggest I ever had. You know, it was big, big, big. So I feel like there's more things I want to come out with something that's actually incognito. So people can actually buy it, don't even know me. You know, that's how I'm going to know that people are buying whatever that they like versus they not buying it because it's me, you know. So that's how I actually got bigger. People kept asking for this, they kept asking, I'm going to just come out with some stuff. So that's how I got bigger. Mm-hmm.
Do we have anybody that wants to be a writer in the audience? Oh, we have one. Okay. No, so I'm over there. We got some. I'm a writer, so I knew from when I was young that I wasn't gonna just be doing one thing, right? Because when you're a writer, you can write a book, you can write a movie, you could start the Shade Room. You get what I'm saying? And so for me, I started off actually before the Shade Room. I started off writing a Sundance movie. It was in theaters this past weekend. You can watch it on iTunes, Google Play. It's called Night Comes On. But yeah, so I actually started off as a screenwriter, and then you know, I was broke one day. You know, I didn't have any money, and so I was like, I have to figure out how to take care of myself because it takes like 4 years to make a movie, right? Well, it did for me. So I thought of something. I was like, okay, well, I could write, I could blog. You know what I mean? So I started the Shade Room, and then now I'm working on a project with HBO, and so it's like you can do anything that you want to do. I look at my life like I'm a kid. What did you want to do when you were a kid? You know, like there were no limits when you were a kid. And so I always try to live my life like I'm still a kid. Like, oh, I want to try everything. You know what I mean? Songwriting, this, and that. You know what I mean? And so I just don't put a cap on it. I am who I am. I'm a writer, and that means I'm a lot of things. You know what I mean?
And I think it's amazing that all of us on this stage can understand how important it is not to box ourselves in. I think sometimes we can become our worst enemy when it comes to what we want to do. We feel like we have to do what's expected of us. And I think what doing is the unexpected is what all propelled us to where we are today. And I feel so bad wrapping this up, but I got to wrap it up. But we're going to open up the floor to questions and answers, some Q&A. So I believe there's someone out in the audience with a mic. We're going to have you guys answer some questions.
Hello? Oh, hi. My name is Tyne. I run a blog in the Bay. It's called the Black Bay Area. And I just want to say thank you to Angie because I was going around for like 3 or 2, like it had been like 8 months. I was running around with this big idea. And I was talking to my friend and she passed me Yes Girl podcast and you were featured on it. And so that's how I got that aspiration to create this blog site where we talk about white people behaving badly, events, things like that. And so, so far, I've generated so many users. There's over 40,000 users in the Bay that have touched our blog. So I just want to say
wow,
thank you.
that's amazing. That's not a small feat. So
it is a small feat because I'm the only one running it. So I was just wondering, like, in terms of, like, how do you go about being a media company? How to, besides people asking you for free promotion, free this, free that, how do you approach, like, leveling up?
Well, the first thing I do is focus on my community, right? Because as long as you have a very potent community, the Shade Room, you know, the roommates are like one of the craziest communities online, right? I mean, like they are like just, I can't even control them no more. Like they just spiral out of control, right? And so, but the main thing that I focused on was creating this community of people that love to talk. They love to share their opinion, good or bad. They're very honest. And so brands started to come from around the world saying, hey, we want to be on that platform because we see that it's a potent community. We see that you guys are really active. And so I would say just focus on your community. The money will come. As long as you keep building that community, talk to we respond to every single DM that the roommates send. And my staff is like, do we have to respond to everything? I'm like, everything. Don't let one DM go by that you don't respond to. You know what I mean? So just make sure you keep a really close relationship with them. Listen to them. There was a time where I used to blog. Like, I used to be the one writing. And they told me, we don't want to hear from you no more. Like, stop. And I took myself off the blog. You know what I mean? I don't write anymore, and it's no opinions. It's just we post what's going on. So I feel like you have to really listen to your audience, listen to what they want. And what's the name of your blog again?
Bay Area?
Black Bay Area.
Black Bay Area. I'm going to follow you, and I'm going to support you. Okay, congratulations.
Amazing. So I've been told, it's not my fault, I'm just a messenger, that we have no more time for questions and answers, but I'm sure these ladies will be around, and if they're not, I'm sure you can find them on Instagram, on social media, and I would love to continue this conversation about purpose. I'll be in LA Cream Talk in a few months, and we can really get into some things. I really think this conversation has been helpful for everybody, and if you're looking for purpose, pray on it. Just pray on it.
Pray on it.
Pray on it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys.
Lamborghini, just a race with China. What the race?